Welcome to the Daily MBA, where business wisdom is served fresh and fast, straight from one of the top MBA programs in the world. I'll give you summaries of my lectures and readings, as well as the most important insights gained from an MBA, so you can apply all of this knowledge in every business. Let's get started. On my last episode, I was talking with Aaron and learning lots of the upcoming marketing trends that are going to be in 2024. We discussed the cookieless future, Gen AI, and also omni-channel structures. And today we're going to keep talking with Aaron, but about another trend that he was sharing with me, and it's his vision on customer search. So Aaron, tell us more about what you think over here.
Yeah, so I hate to break it to you, but I am quite bullish on how SEO is going to perform and what exactly SEO is going to mean for the future. The reason why I'm saying this is because the way SEO works is starting to become a bit antiquated. So for those who don't actually understand what SEO is, in a nutshell, people, when they engage with search platforms or apps, they ask questions. And those questions are broken down into specific keywords. And when a company tries to sell their products, they tackle specific keywords in order to place their ads or campaigns visibly to a person, whether it's at the top of a search engine query or whether it's on the front page of something like an Amazon buy box e-commerce shopping experience. The reason why that's that type of format where people are targeting keywords is kind of becoming antiquated is that because customers are smarter, they're asking a lot more tailored questions. So from my previous experience, instead of asking best cell phone of 2023, my new question as a customer would be, I am a 29-year-old student with a budget of around, say, $50 a month to spend on a cell phone. And I really like taking photos. What is the best cell phone that you could recommend to me? That type of question can't really be targeted through individual keywords because you can look at budget, you can look at cell phone, you can look at photos and features, but finding an actual answer and an actual recommendation that triangulates all of the things that I'm looking for is something that SEO can't solve anymore with their advertising. Because the way that I'm creating a query nowadays is based off of various points for the thing that I'm trying to look for, as opposed to the one direct thing. So because of that, that's one of the applications and needs to an AI platform that I'm looking to solve that a search query traditionally cannot. So that is the reason why we have to adapt as marketers to find a strategy that broadens the scope from targeted keywords and things that campaigns shouldn't look at, that type of black and white structure, into something a lot more flexible.
And how do you think that search engine marketing would evolve if we are not looking for specific keywords now, but into this very long sentences, let's say?
It would have to involve some sort of pattern recognition through machine learning. Because instead of individual yes, no, high expense, low expense type of targets, we need to look at frameworks of decision making. Different levels of priorities of what people tend to look at, as opposed to things that are black and white. Usually SEO and SEM are very heavily relied on the tools that are used, particularly like SEMrush or Google Ads or Google SEO, whatever platforms they have. But there has to be some sort of AI involvement that isn't available yet in 2024, but some sort of data-driven modeling that predicts the likelihood of certain types of customer pain points running on in order to recommend not just individual products, but maybe types of discovery generated behaviors that will lead to a decision of 2 or 3 types of products. So leveraging that type of shopping experience as opposed to individual product pages for web optimization funnels is probably going to be a lot more important in the immediate future.
Definitely, I believe very soon all of our search engines are going to start changing with all of the trends. Do you want to talk about any other trend that is popping up into your head in this second, or do you think we've covered the most important ones?
There's always this, like, in every marketing campaign, there's basically 2 types of big bodies. There's the body that generates the strategy for that campaign, and there's the body that tracks how exactly the campaign is doing based off of its goals, based off of its budgets, and really understanding the performance and programmatic side of things. Those go hand in hand with determining whether or not a campaign is actually working as advertised. One of the trends revolving the programmatic performance type of thing is dashboarding and data collection, which is something that AI is really having a hand in, because that ability to provide faster insights and faster reports in real time is something that admittedly a lot of corporations still to this day struggle with, because it's a lot of work to move all of the different components in an effective way to adapt to all of these changes in the markets. A small company can do it because they're only managing 50 to 100 SKUs, or SKUs or products. But if you have a company that's working, like, for instance, a Loblaws, a supermarket chain that sells thousands and thousands of products, that type of solution requires a lot of different components and a lot more of a complicated type of structure. So the way that technology is adapting to inform people about how things are doing and even tell people what is the correct thing that they should be looking at amidst the smoke and all of the gray areas for what is irrelevant or the irrelevant information out there, that's something that AI has been doing a very, very good job of, I would say.
And now that you were talking about dashboarding, I've also been seeing a trend of like no-code dashboards or stuff like that, where you're trying to do all of these things but without engineers or people that do all of this elaborate work. Have you also been seeing this trend, or do you know about it?
Yeah, that is one of the features which drives into an omni-channel marketer's capabilities, because if marketers understand the requirements, the KPIs, the actual things that they need to look at, being able to just actively find that data without the need for another person is extremely useful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. And which other things, like maybe KPIs, do you think people should be looking at when they're doing this dashboarding or data analysis?
So, personally, it hasn't really changed. People are still looking at conversion rates. People are still looking at ROI. People are still looking at return on advertising spend, or ROAS. People are still looking at funnel by funnel engagement rates, things like that, cost to budget. One of the things that tends to happen when new technologies emerge in the market is the idea that because finding information for recommendations are easier, that means you can make decisions based off of more metrics and more insights. But I think more importantly is scaling back and really focusing on North Star metrics, or 2 or 3 main metrics that really drive a business, while having calculations that prove or disprove the performance of those main and key metrics. scaling back and really narrowing that type of focus to be specific to a business's needs is as important as ever. And in order to really understand that, you have to look at your business, leverage your strategic managers, and create simple but well enunciated and well researched statements that align all of the different teams and organizations within, I guess, a campaign strategy.
Okay. Okay, so talking about all of this data analysis, and what I've seen at class is that we have 3 types of data analysis, which are going to be descriptive, which will be usually associated with these dashboards that we were talking about, but we might also have prescriptive and predictive analysis. So can you share a little bit more what those 2 other types are?
Yeah. So on the highest level of what marketing has to offer, first and foremost, for descriptive, that describes the what of what exactly is happening. There's something called a media mix model. Basically, what that does is it tracks omni-channel behavior. This is the highest echelon of what marketers can use to inform decisions. Before, what traditionally happened was, okay, you go on a website, you go through this type of conversion funnel that goes from awareness to consideration to conversion or sale. That doesn't really work anymore, because what customers are actually doing, because they're smarter, is they're going all across the board. Their behaviors are really inconsistent with something that's within a funnel. One example is, okay, let's say I was on a coffee chat with a friend and that person recommended a new pair of eyeglasses. That's like the very first point in making a decision. Okay, I got to buy a pair of eyeglasses. So the first thing I would do is I would go on TikTok, search up, okay, what do people know, what's trending on eyeglasses? So I scroll through a bunch of different things, and I land on 1 or 2 different brands that I'm not really sure about. So I go to their website and, I poke around, I look through a couple product pages, I might add a few things to a couple of cards. But then I realize, okay, well, I could buy directly from the distributor, but I could also buy from Amazon. So I go to Amazon, compare different prices, and I eventually realize, okay, Amazon probably has the same thing at the lowest price. So what do? Like most customers would do? Of course I would wait, right? I would probably just hold off until the next Black Friday sale, because I know that same thing at that price is probably going to be discounted by 20%. So the question to a marketer is, with that type of behavior, how do you really know what drove the sale, right? That's the purpose of a media mix model. So a media mix model takes all of those proxied behaviors and translates them into different insights or requirements for driving ads. Looking at a user journey and saying, okay, this person's been on the fence for a while. Maybe we offer him a discount. Or this person is considering looking at a bunch of different things. Let's showcase the features and the value that our specific products could have to drive, again, not just one specific sale and decision, but an assortment of different things that leads to a sale. In terms of prescriptive, that describes how there's a lot of different tests that are being run. I think the gold standard right now still would be A/B testing, or more recently, media incrementality, which essentially is taking an individual campaign and ad and assessing how exactly it performs over a period of time. Checking through different types of conversions based off of news or based off of different affiliated or associated campaigns that are going in and above it, but focusing on incrementally how it has improved through the ebbs and flows of the industry or the market that's been, I guess, appearing while the ad has been placed. And then the third part is predictive, which essentially is, as it says, predicting what the future is and how probable certain things are happening, which goes, and I won't bore you again with the details, but it goes into what exactly ML can provide with creating these maps of behaviors to assess and judge how a person is likely to gravitate towards a situation.
It's good to see that all of the things that I learned in stats are having real life applications in marketing.
Yeah.
And so my last question, just to close up this data-driven part, would be what things would you advise someone who's trying to enter this space? What should they learn? What should they be focusing on? Are there also any trends related to this data-driven companies?
Right. So statistics has traditionally been very skill-based. Do you know the platforms? Do you know the models? Do you know the tests? Because we're in this flux and there isn't really a gold standard certification that proves you're good at statistics, what I would really focus on, very similar to most strategists or consultants out there, is understanding the types of questions and the types of studies and also the types of samples and customer segments that are commonly formed for test or for statistical analysis. The application of all of these models and platforms that a company would use, you probably won't be able to learn really how it functions until you've landed the job. But what you can do is showcase ways that you've formed questions when you're talking to people. Really narrowing and targeting on what exactly are the things that managers are looking at. And if you're able to communicate that you know what those decisions are and what those types of frameworks are, that will land you through your interviews into the jobs that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes back into the whole networking type of thing. But thinking about applications is a lot more important than thinking about skills.
Amazing. Okay. In our next episode, Aaron will be also talking to us about networking. So be sure to stay tuned and check that one out.